let's start with the introduction to microprocessor. As soon as we hear the term microprocessor, the very first question that comes into our mind is, what is a microprocessor? So let us start with a more familiar term, that is computer. A computer is a programmable machine that receives input from the input devices and stores and manipulates this data or information received from the input device and provides output in a useful format. Hence, a digital computer is an electronic machine capable of quickly performing a wide variety of tasks. They can be used to compile, correlate, sort, merge, and store data, as well as perform complex calculations at a much faster rate than human beings by a means of stored instruction. Historically, digital computers have been categorized according to the size. We have heard of large computers, medium computers, mini computers, and microcomputer. But as the technology has advanced, the face of computer has changed gradually, and it becomes possible to build the entire central processing unit on a single chip, which is known as microprocessor. As we can see, the figure shows block diagram of a basic computer system. It includes CPU, which is nothing but central processing unit. It has memory, which we say RAM and ROM. RAM means random access memory, ROM means read-only memory. We have I/O interface, which is the input-output interface. We have I/O devices, again input and output devices. Also, we can see there is a bus system which includes three types of buses: the address bus, data bus, and the control bus. We will see each of these blocks in detail in the coming chapters, but as of now, for introduction, we know what do we mean by central processing unit. Central processing unit is the heart of any computer system. This is the component that actually executes any instruction that is given to the computer. We have input device, which is usually a keyboard or a mouse, and the input device are the devices through which the data and instructions enter a computer. Also, we have output devices like a display screen, which we also call as monitor, printer, or any other device that lets you see what the computer has accomplished. We have memory, which enables a computer to store the data and the programs temporarily. We have mass storage device that allows the computer to permanently retain large amount of data. For example, disk drives and tape drives. In short, a computer is a programmable machine and it has two principal characteristics. The first one is that it responds to a specific set of instructions in a well-defined manner, and it can execute a pre-recorded list of instructions. We should also know what is the difference between a hardware and a software. As far as the computer systems are considered, the actual machinery wires, transistors and circuit is called as hardware. The instructions and the data are called as software. Hence, all general purpose computers require the following hardware components. components, which include memory, mass storage device, input device, output device, and central processing unit, which we call as CPU. Hence, we can say that microprocessor is a silicon chip that contains the central processing unit. In the world of computers, the term microprocessor and CPU can be used interchangeably. A microprocessor is also abbreviated as MUPI, which is nothing but a digital component with transistors on a single semiconductor integrated circuit. What do we mean by integrated circuit? Integrated circuit is nothing but a fabrication technology in which a group of transistors are being fabricated on a single silicon wafer. Microprocessor consists of three main units. The first one is ALU, that means arithmetic and logical unit. Second, the registers, and third, the control unit. We will go into each block in details in the coming chapters. As we have already seen what do we mean by a microprocessor, it's time to define what do we mean by a microcomputer. The term microcomputer is generally synonymous with personal computer or a computer that depends on a microprocessor. Microcomputers are designed to be used by individuals, whether in the form of personal computers or workstations or notebook computers. What do we mean by microstations? Workstations. The working station is nothing but a powerful single user computer. A workstation is like a personal computer, but it has a powerful microprocessor and a high quality monitor. Hence, a microcomputer can be defined as a system which contains central processing unit. I repeat, which contains central processing unit on a microchip, that is the microprocessor, a memory system which can be ROM and RAM, and a bus system along with input and output ports typically housed in a motherboard. This is the basic difference between microprocessor and microcomputer. What is a microprocessor? The microprocessor has three main units: the arithmetic logic unit, registers, and the control unit. Whereas when we consider a microcomputer, it consists of CPU including microprocessor, a memory system, and the bus system along with the input and output ports. As we have already seen the definition of microprocessor, we know it has three main units: arithmetic logic unit, the register array, and the control unit. Hence, we can have a proper definition to microprocessor. And it is defined as a microprocessor is a multi-purpose, programmable, clock-driven, register-based electronic device that reads binary instruction from a storage device called as memory, accepts binary data as input, and process data according to those instructions and provide results as output. The one important thing about microprocessor is it reads only binary instruction and accepts only binary data, that is data in the form of 0 and 1. In this definition, four terms are very much important. What do we mean by programmable, clock-driven, register-based electronic device? The term programmable means to perform different set of operation on the data depending on the sequence of instructions supplied by the programmer. The term clock driven means the whole task is divided into basic operations and are divided into a precise system clock periods. By the term register based, we mean that it uses registers as a storage element, and since we know that microprocessors are being fabricated on a chip, it is called as electronic device. Hence, in the definition, we say microprocessor is a multi-purpose, programmable, clock-driven, register-based electronic device. Now, let us see the advances in semiconductor technology. What do we mean by semiconductor? We already know semiconductor are the materials that have conductivity properties, and the flow of charges can be controlled by adding some sort of impurity. The most commonly used semiconductors are silicon and germanium. With the invent of transistor and the advent of technology, they started to fabricate transistors into a single silicon wafer, or rather we can say a group of transistors into a single silicon wafer, which we call the integrated circuits. And there has been a gradual change in semiconductor technology after this. It can be divided into small scale integration, which is also said to be SSI, medium scale integration, which is known as MSI, large scale integration, which is known as LSI, and very large scale integration and super large scale integration, which we call as VLSI and SLSI. What do we mean by small scale integration? In 1960s, the technology of integrating the circuits of a logic gate on a single chip became to be known as small scale integration. When this technology advanced, it was possible to fabricate more than 100 gates on a single chip. This was known as MSI. Again, with time, it was possible to fabricate 1000 gates on one chip called as LSI, and now we use the integration system which is known as VLSI and SLSI, where tens and thousands of logic gates are being fabricated on a single silicon chip. And hence, the basic difference between all these integration systems is nothing but the number of transistors that could be fabricated on a single chip, and this is related to Moore's law, which says that the number of transistors would be always increasing with time on, which could be fabricated into a single chip or one silicon wafer. That's all for this lecture. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.